What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. So, look, man, I was looking at an interview that former President Donald Trump did with some Fox affiliated host. I don't know who his name is. I don't watch that network, but I was just looking to see what he was talking about. And it's obvious he has a personal vendetta against Mitch McConnell. He has a vendetta against the Democrats, a vendetta against the FBI, and pretty much everybody who doesn't stand next to him and walk and march with him, locked in arms, singing his praises. And I'm making this video because while it's still 2 more months until Election Day, and still over a year and some change until the 2024 primaries, I want to talk about something that I think is an ominous sign for Trump as far as him being reelected. Now, I know I've said in the past that I think he's going to win re-election. I think. And I still lean toward that, but politics is a tricky thing, man. It's very difficult to forecast things when it comes to politics. You just never know what's going to happen. So this is one of the things that is bothering me about Trump. I'm going to get to the point. When he ran in 2015, he was running on issues, remember? Draining the swamp, getting rid of the corruption in Washington, bringing back jobs that had been outsourced and supposedly lost forever. He was running as a populist for the common people, even the more cringe-worthy stuff when it comes to legal immigration. He was still, even though some people found that racist, and a lot of it is, it was still espoused upon the premise that, hey, they're taking jobs from us. Okay, he was running as a populist for the common man, the forgotten man. He was running saying that, both political parties have been taken over by elitists who are out of touch. And there was also a lot of anti-Obama sentiment in this country from certain elements. So that helped too. And he won in an upset against Hillary Clinton. But the difference now is that he's not really running on issues. He's running more, or if he is going to run, he's running more as far as a personal grievance, a personal vendetta that he lost. And basically, he's at war. He's at war not with just the Democrats, but within his own party. And when you look at the fact that it looks like it's going to be inevitable now, the DOJ just said that more than likely there'll be indictments against Trump, but they're going to hold off until after the elections. When you look at the fact that now he's just running off of spite, fielding candidates to screw the neocon wing of the Republicans, talking shit about Mitch McConnell, talking shit about, Lynn Cheney, and he's at war with his own party than with the Democrats. And from a historical standpoint, that's not a good sign or a good omen. One of the things that you have to do is consolidate your own party before you start worrying about the opposition in the general election. Trump is doing the opposite. He's at war with his own party, and it's getting worse. Now, 4 years ago, or maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I guess I should say, when he ran, they were a little leery of Trump, but the Republicans saw what the people said, and they supported Trump, more or less. They were united against him, even though some grumbled about it a couple of years ago. But now that he's out of office, And now that when you look at the fact that, hey, Sarah Palin lost, some of these other fringe candidates that he's nominated, sure, they're cleaning up in the primaries, but they're so far to the right that they're probably going to lose in the general election. And if a lot of his back candidates lose in the general election, what you going to do? Keep crying foul? Keep saying that every election was rigged? So if all these candidates that you keep nominating keep losing in the general election, we have to wait to see if that happens. But if the candidates that he nominate lose, well, then that takes away a lot of his stock. Then, if you're part of the opposition in the Republican Party, now you're starting to speak a little bit more openly because now Trump is becoming more toxic and he's becoming more marginalized. And if a lot of his candidates lose, then he gets indicted, then he's not the powerful force he once was. And shout out to the brother LB because he told me something. He said this a week ago. When it comes to this situation, the RNC are not going to pay his legal fees when it comes to the Mar-a-Lago incident. So you can make an argument if the present trends continue, Trump's power and influence within the party could start waning. That's why when a lot of people say, "Oh man, you go back and forth," you just don't know what politics. 1 month you look inevitable, then 2 months later, shit happens, and then you have to reassess things. I've said this before. I remember back in March of 1991, man, February, March of 1991, it looked like George Herbert Walker Bush was unbeatable. Right after the Persian Gulf War, a stunning success. I remember the military parade they showed on television of the troops coming back from Iraq, the Persian Gulf area, and they were saluting George H.W. Bush. And I remember looking at the newspaper the next day. It said probable second term for Bush, and all of the main Democratic candidates at the time, Mario Cuomo, Dick Gephardt, and some of the other ones, they didn't even want to run. Tom Harkin of, I think it was Iowa, didn't even run because they were scared of Bush. The only one that wasn't really scared of him was some horny ass governor from Arkansas. And we know how that happened. You know what happened with that, I should say. So at the end of the day, Trump may be biting off more than he can chew. We have to wait and see, though, because he's going up against a Democratic Party that is not in the greatest shape either. So all this shit could be going on, and he still could squeak out a victory. He still could win. Because we know Kamala Harris is a horrible candidate. And I'm going to tell you something. If the Democrats do the same shit with her that they did in 2020 and force her down our throats, force her down our throats as a candidate and rig it, well, then that's a whole nother matter. But anyway, tell me what you guys think.